What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Blazed and Confused, the podcast where curiosity is high, confidence is questionable, and logic usually shows up late. I'm Max.
And I'm Noah.
So, we're getting into a little spooky story tonight. We're going to talk about the Villisca Axe Murder House. So, as you can tell by the name, it's got a little bit of a history, but we're not going to get super deep into that history. We're going to kind of give you a brief background of how it got the name, and then immediately after that, we'll kind of tell you why we thought this was interesting because of its ghost stories. So, obviously, it's located in Villisca, Iowa. It's another Midwest location.
The name Villisca is a Native American name meaning pretty place. And after these murders, people are starting to think maybe the name was mistaken for Willisca, which is another Native American name for evil place. Well, kind of coincidental how that lines up, though.
Yeah, that's a little close there. One of those lost in translations that probably should have been kept not lost.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those, like, it was probably a really pretty town, and then a bunch of people got murdered, and not so pretty anymore, more of an evil place.
Yeah, so speaking of people being murdered there, we're going to just briefly kind of touch this base story. Quick little listener discretion advise here. We talk about murders that had happened in this house. If you don't want to hear any of that type of topic, feel free to skip forward to the 4-minute mark where we start talking about the stories of the ghosts and the hauntings that occur on the location. So, during the night of June 9th to the very early mornings of June 10th, 1912, 6 family members of the Moore family and 2 of their guests were found murdered in the Moore residence. All 8 of them were killed with an axe. What made this story pretty bad is 6 of them were children. This rocked the town pretty bad. You know, it's a terrible thing to have happen. But to make it even worse, the case remains unsolved. There was a lot of people that were tried that didn't pan out in court, proving 100% one way or the other. The largest problem with this case was after the discovery of the deceased, the entire town was alerted as like an all call, and they walked through the house within hours. The officer that was there was unable to kind of lock the place off, so the whole crime scene was contaminated, and the fact that it's unsolved, with as disgusting as what happened, a lot of people believe that is what has led to the pure evil spirits that remain on this location. So we're going to kind of talk more about these ghost stories, whether you believe them or not. But, I think we found a couple of cases that have kind of proven, without concrete evidence, but proves that definitely something is going on here. Supernatural, right?
Most definitely. I mean, there's several stories of it. Several different entities that I guess have been reported here.
Yeah.
The known one is a 6 to 7 foot tall shadow figure is frequently reported in the upstairs children's room, often associated with a sense of dread, is how they describe it. Which, I tell you right now, I don't do shadow figures. I don't do paranormal at all. Like, I'm not going to sleep well tonight after doing this. I'm not going to lie to everybody. So, I hope you enjoy these podcasts because it's going to cost me sleep.
Well, and that's like, I, you know me, man. Like I've got some of my own ghost stories, but sometimes I play the skeptic, right? Could just be everything aligned just enough to make me persuaded to whatever the suggestion was. Like, oh, it's a ghost. But yeah, some of these I've never in my you know, absolute misunderstanding of what's going on, uh ever thought I saw a shadow figure, let alone like a what, 6'9" you said?
6 to 7 foot. So yeah, yeah.
Yeah, see, I've never seen that. And I want to persuade myself more towards this paranormal being a real thing.
I mean, there's some wild stories about this place, though. I mean, like, not only shadow figures, but, objects moving. I mean, like, the stuff that you see in movies is what's happening in this house. It's something of pure terror and horror. Um, and nobody's safe from it. I mean, there's a report in 2014.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard about this one. When you were doing, or not heard, but seen it when you were doing your research. There's a paranormal enthusiast entered the house with a hunting knife. He was told not to take it inside, and he provoked the spirits into a response. He kept just, going around the house, hooting, hollering, trying to provoke him, and ended up getting what he asked for. He reported he saw a flash of light, and then he woke up in a hospital with no idea of what had happened to him. He suffered a self-inflicted wound with his own knife that he didn't remember.
Yeah, boy. See,
And later returned to the house and apologized for his behavior. I mean, good on him for apologizing, but could you imagine someone telling you, "Hey, I want to take that knife in there with you"? One, that's going to scare me. More.
uh-huh.
Look, get me to go into a paranormal house. It's going to be rough.
Dude, I'm telling you, I think it could be interesting, man. I mean,
Oh, definitely interesting. Definitely a life experience, and I'm all for life experiences. But I tell you, get me into a house, and my hair starts to stand up on the back of my neck or something. Yep, all right, that's one thing. If someone goes, "Hey, you got a knife in your pocket?" I always got a pocket knife on me. Hey, you got that knife in your pocket? Yeah. Why? I want to take that in there.
yeah.
Why? Bad juju, man. And then you wake up in the hospital with a self-inflicted knife wound. I don't say how bad it was, but I mean, he ended up in the hospital for it, so it couldn't have been that, good.
No kidding. That's, boy. So like all the stories that I found that had people going nuts were just like they walk in and they can immediately feel it. I've been to some weird places, but I've also been to some really normal places and had that feeling of like, something's weird. And then not been able to put my finger on it. But I feel like when you go to somewhere like this, it's a lot easier to pinpoint where it's coming from and why you're not feeling great about going in there.
Oh
But
yeah, I mean, you're strictly evil is what's in this house. I mean, that's unreleased spirits.
but so here's my question about that, right? So I get all this bad stuff happened, but why would it be evil? Why is it every time there's like a ghost place, it's always like a bad ghost. Like, oh, it scratched me. Or it threw this at me. Or it just makes me feel like it's creepy and watching me. Why isn't there ever like, yo, me and the ghost kick it, dude? Like every night, the motherfucker's downstairs, sitting on the couch, eating my cheese balls. It just makes a mess, but we kicked it. Why is it never that? That's I feel like that's a missed opportunity. If I ever become a ghost, you can 100% guarantee I'm just hanging out.
Well, not every ghost is like Casper, bud.
But that's the thing is that's all you ever hear is the bad ones. Like I get it, but these people, right? Here's my caveat to this. These people were, you know, renowned for being very hospitable and nice and everything else and not having issues with anybody. And now all of a sudden that they're like ghosts, they're just like bad. You know? How does that work?
You know, I,
Like a question for somewhere else.
yeah. I mean, but I'm just a construction worker. All
I
right.
mean, I get it. But I'm just saying, like, it's always crazy. You know what always like blew my mind? Why is there never ghosts of like the '90s or the 2000s? It's always like this ghost is from 1612 and he haunts these lands. It's never
Yeah.
like, yeah, that's Kevin. Uh, he's like 25, so he's super chill.
I mean, what ghost you wanting to see? Like Kurt Cobain or something, bud?
Oh,
Like
dude, all right.
something.
No, dude, I don't want to see ghosts like that. Like, I just, you know what I mean? Like, that's the biggest thing that skeptics have, and that's why
Yeah, I mean,
I
but
still
I feel
kind of
like
don't
every
believe in
time that we
ghosts.
say we see a ghost, you're expecting to see like an actual whole ghost figure. You know, like in the movies, like, oh, it's from 1612. You expect him to have a fucking top hat on and everything else.
Hell
You know,
yeah.
but
Good day.
it seems like, yeah. But like in this, they describe a 6 to 7 foot tall shadow figure
Yeah,
and then
the killer didn't even
a
die there.
fog that moves from room to room. You know, so it's odd to me on how ghosts and spirits and all those. For one, ghosts and spirits are two different things. I did
Right?
learn that.
Yeah.
But it's like how they're in different shapes and or forms and all
Yeah.
this other stuff. You know,
But
like
that's what blows my mind. It's like a 7 foot tall dude, but the killer wasn't killed there. But the killer didn't die there. So why is his ghost there? You know, that's what's always confused the hell out of me.
yeah. I mean, and I'm sure if you were to ask paranormal people, you know, they would actually have a way better answer. But I think it's something to do with like the spirits not being freed from.
I guess that makes sense. I
Maybe
mean,
that's got something to do with covering up the mirrors and all that
dude,
that he
I was
did.
just gonna bring that up. That was one of the weird things they noticed during the investigation. Every mirror in the house was covered with something, like completely covered with clothes or a blanket or a towel or whatever. And they say that it was the killer who did it. The other weird thing about this whole thing, maybe this is why it's that same spirit. When they went and investigated the attic of that house, they think that's where the killer was waiting for them. Um, kind of wild. They found two completely burnt up cigarettes.
Hmm,
I maybe
that's
that's why it keeps coming back.
maybe. I mean, I seen so that you know, like you said, a bunch of different people were tried for the murder.
Yeah.
You know, and there's a couple different like there's a schizophrenic priest that
Yeah.
traveled around there. They
Yep.
think it could have been him. They think it could have been his boss because he left with the John Deere contract. But they did. There was a journalist in 2017, I think I read, that kind of picked up on this story and did some digging. And there's a German man, Paul something, but he was a drifter. Well, he had
Yep.
done
I heard
the
about
same
this
type
one.
of murders and covered the mirrors in the other houses, which I wonder if those houses are haunted too.
Well, and at that same thing, you know.
Because then it could have something to do with the mirrors. I don't know why
Yep.
covering mirrors would haunt
Well,
a
a
house
lot
like
of
that.
so again, because I'm a skeptic, you know, I always look at these different ways that they think they see ghosts and can talk to them or whatever. They believe that mirrors are a portal. Um, Skeptic or not, I have somewhat of the same feeling. I don't like used mirrors. Like, obviously, oh, they're all used because they're at the store. I'm talking about like been hung up in somebody's house and now I've got it third or fourth hand. It's always weird to me. Um, like, not like gross weird, but like a man, that's something about that just makes me feel not comfy.
Right.
So, the mirrors thing, I would 100% almost believe that's got something to do with it.
Yeah, like maybe it doesn't allow their soul to leave. Like it
I don't
traps it
know,
in
dude.
that house, because if that is a portal, maybe that's the portal over to the other side or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea, but I've heard a lot of that from that community of hardcore believers and
Yeah.
spiritual people or whatever. But
But
yeah,
yeah, man, I mean, super paranormal stuff going on in this house. I mean, I've told you about that guy in 14. What other ones did you have?
so mine aren't as like heavy presences. Um, there was a group of people that are kind of like freelance ghost investigators, right?
Okay,
They're
yeah.
not, they don't have a TV show, they don't have a huge following. They just kind of do it for their friend group and then like other groups of close people.
No, so
Um,
they're crazy.
well, I mean, say what you
They're
will.
just out here chasing ghosts for fun.
Yeah, nah. Like I said, we're gonna have an episode where I'm gonna bring my dad back on. He's got some ghost stories that correlate directly with mine, and then he's got additional as well as I know you have some, Noah. I've got some that Um, I lived in a house in Kansas that I was 100% sure had a ghost, and then when my dad and brother went with me, they've they experienced why I had that feeling. So, these people that were doing this for fun found rolling a ball, like kind of trying to get a kid spirit to interact with it. They thought that it was giving them better interactions. So one of them took the ball and kind of like slow rolled it on the floor. Um, and while it was rolling, it came to a complete stop and then rolled back towards them. Now, again, this is what they are saying. Of course, just like Bigfoot, um, nobody had a video of it. So it's just kind of if you believe it or not. Um, they said they reported testing the floor with a level and it being level. Um, I don't know if I believe that because, as you've stated before, you live in an older house. I have lived in an older house. Not a damn thing in those houses is level.
Nothing.
Yeah. So I don't know if I believe that, but it is kind of a cool story. Um, Other ones are people saying that they feel like cold spots that are in like a normally warm room, and then all of a sudden a area around them gets cold. Um, Another one that people are kind of bagging on, but it's also kind of weird. I've never been in a really hot room and then gotten cold, so could be real. Um, Now, obviously, I'm poking a little bit of holes in my own stories here, but the reason being is because I feel, kind of from one of the reports I was reading, that locals feel like it's being used as a tourist trap, and kind of capitalizing on that tragedy. So
Yeah.
I want to believe so bad that this place is haunted, but um, it's always kind of like a man that is where somebody died and they had their whole family and everything else. So I can see why somebody, even if it were to be haunted, would kind of just be bagging and being like, "Ah, no, it's a tourist trap." But I
Oh
guarantee you, they wouldn't step foot in there.
no, hell no. My only thing is like I wonder. how these spirits don't latch on to some people and leave with them. Like,
So,
because you stay overnight in this house. You know
well,
what I'm saying?
here's a crazy thing, right? We talked about how the crime scene of the house was contaminated because people were literally the entire town was walking through the house. Um, People reportedly stole things from their house while walking through. And like generations go, and then finally, like, grandson or great grandson ends up with a box, and they go through it and they find like, a teddy bear, and they're like, "What's this?" They take it home. Then shit starts happening at their house. They take it back. They find out that it's from the murder house. They take it there. All of a sudden, everything leaves them alone. So that is crazy.
So, so people had that type of stuff happening to them.
Yep. Yep.
Oh,
I mean, not to be grotesque, but there were things that were stolen from that house that should have never been removed from that house ever. And, generations later they find these and kind of, through writing or whatever, find out what it's from, and they end up taking it back, and things have completely changed in their life.
that's scary.
Right? But yeah, I don't know, man. I would love for I don't know how it hasn't been done yet with the way that technology is, for us to be able to full-heartedly prove or disprove. Because I mean, we got aliens. What else do we have?
Right. Like, they gotta know. I don't know how. Man, they wouldn't have made so many movies about all this shit if it wasn't real.
Exactly.
You know what I'm
But
saying? Like,
it could also be like, you
I
know,
just need a Ghostbusters team to come out, like a full-on Ghostbusters team, but then I'll know it's
be
real.
like, we got the ectoplasm. It's gone. The Stay Puft Marshmallow Man never was around here. I don't know, man. You know, it's kind of interesting though, just to find places like this. There are places all across the world, and in every place of the world, there's ghost stories. So, this one we picked because it's kind of close to us. There's a lot of more popular known, and I know that Villisca is not like a secret, but not a whole lot of people know about it. Even less know about the actual tragedy. So if you are interested in it, read about that tragedy. It's something that I feel like is interesting history that kind of shows you how, investigations happened in the past and how times have changed and made us to be more protected, in the sense of catching the bad guy, right? So, with that being said, we're going to kind of make things a little bit lighter. We're going to go to another conspiracy theory. Uh, you know,
Everybody loves them.
yeah, yeah. And that's because there's no answer, you know? Uh, there's like I'm pretty sure, but, once you poke enough holes in a theory, it becomes real or not. So, everybody's heard about the Titanic. Uh, really bad ship sink. Um,
Accident in
yeah,
quotations.
yeah. So that's where this whole conspiracy comes from, right? Uh, a lot of people since then have kind of pointed things out about the Titanic, and they think that it was like a scam to make money, and that they tricked the whole world doing it. Um, the allegations are, and these are not supported by us. This is just us telling you what it is. People think that the Titanic was swapped for its sister ship called the Olympic, which was deemed unseaworthy, um, for an insurance scam.
By the one and only J.P. Morgan
Yep.
with the Federal Reserve.
Yeah. And like I said, we're not saying this is real. This is a theory that we're putting out there that has been put out there. Uh, they think that the company, if they didn't use the Olympic, deliberately sank the Titanic to make money off of it. They also think that because the ship was already loaded with other millionaires, they think that that was kind of like a get out of the competition type of
Yeah,
thing.
so J.P. Morgan, who owned the ship, he owned the Titanic and he owned the Olympic. Um, they think that he allegedly planned the sinking to eliminate prominent rivals, not rifles. John Jacob Astor, Benjamin Guggenheim, and another guy who
Yeah,
opposed the creation of the Federal Reserve. They all happened to die on the sinking of the Titanic, and the Federal Reserve was created. They were very, very, very loud advocates for not having it. See, and that's the other part. They're like, J.P. Morgan canceled his trip at the last minute because he was supposed to
yeah,
be on the Titanic. But evidence suggests that this was due to health and business reasons. Critics
yeah,
argue that if that was a conspiracy to kill them, it was moronic and boneheaded,
yeah.
as there is far easier ways to eliminate individuals than
No kidding.
orchestrating. Oh my God, an iceberg collision. And it is like, yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, dude.
When you really look at it, you're like, yeah, if I'm gonna kill all these guys, I need to kill 3 guys. I'm
Yeah,
gonna sink an entire fucking ship of people
that
with
has lifeboats.
an iceberg. Yeah.
Dude, and that's what I was thinking, right? So like when I first came across this, I was like, "Oh man." And I start reading, I'm like, "Oh." But then like you see all this other stuff and they're like, that would have been the dumbest thing that they ever did. So that one immediately got scratched. Here's where the switching the boat for the Olympic comes crashing to a halt. The Olympic was literally being chopped, like was completely like beginning the disassembly process, and they have proof of that because it was like documented in the warehouse, and there's like
Not only that,
photograph and everything else.
not only that, the Titanic's wreckage is stamped with its unique yard number 401, while the
Yep,
Olympic had a long, successful career afterwards. Furthermore, swapping them would have required the collusion of thousands of shipyard workers, which is seen as logistically impossible. Like, yeah,
exactly.
hey, we're gonna get everybody in this shipyard to lie so
Yeah.
that we can wreck this boat with 1,000 people on it, or however many were
Not
on there.
not to mention that how many times have we documented the wreckage? Like there is video footage of the wreckage. There's also
And
Doppler. Everything, dude.
okay, if we're gonna come up with conspiracies about the Titanic, and while we're talking about the wreckage, it brings me to this thought: wasn't there that submarine that went down to look at the
Yes.
wreckage? I can't
Yeah.
remember the name of it, but it was recently, and
Yeah.
there's a huge conspiracy around that now too because of everything
Because
that
of all
happened
the
with it.
Titanic stuff, yeah. And it just adds to this one originating. And the one about the submarine is very sad. But I also think it's very hard headed of you to be told it's not worthy of going down there. It's going to have catastrophic failure, and you take it upon yourself to be like, nah, it's good. I
Yeah.
don't know shit about shit, but it's good.
Well, I mean, you should know. I'm not gonna lie. If I'm with this guy and he's convinced me to go in this submarine, after everybody else says no, but this guy convinces me, and then I go, "Hey, man, how do you control this thing?" And he pulls out a fucking Xbox controller.
Yeah,
I'm out. I mean, what are you doing with that? Well, this is how I control it. But this
yeah.
ain't like
It's
an
not even
RC car.
branded.
Like,
This is generic, bro. You're gonna get stick drift.
yeah, like, it's probably what happened. So the third biggest theory here about the Titanic, and this one cracks me up. Um, it's the no Pope cursed hole number.
Yeah.
Have you seen this one?
I briefly read over that and kind of just like I didn't even read it. So enlighten me.
So the hole number of the Titanic, when viewed in a mirror, looked like no Pope. Supposedly, 390904 was the number, causing Catholic workers at the Harland and Wolff shipyard to sabotage the ship.
That's wild.
And then they're
That'd
like,
be like
You want to know why this is wrong?" They're like, "Oh yeah, what's wrong?" The Titanic's true yard number is 401. So,
is, is that like pre-calculator 8008135
yes.
upside down? They're like, dude, you're not gonna believe it, man. Look at this. It says no Pope, dude. Let's go blast that ship. That is so bogus. That is the worst theory.
They talk, and then you got your regular ones that, um, like there's the German U-boat
Yeah. Yep.
theory,
There's
and
all
then
kinds of theories
the
about it.
coal fire. Oh, another good one, the cursed mummy. The idea that an Egyptian mummy on board cursed the ship.
Dude, here's the facts. They've researched it. It struck an iceberg and it sunk. Like that's the meat and potatoes of that. So I don't know. I the Titanic theory, conspiracy, whatever you're gonna call it, I think is pretty out there.
Oh yeah, I mean it's definitely one of the more out there ones. Uh, they still think that somebody sabotaged it and blew it up, like blew the hole up, because they're like, there's no way that that iceberg could do that much damage.
No
And
kidding.
it's like, okay, so why do
Yeah.
they want to blow it up?
Yeah. Well, here's why, man. Give me a week and I'll let you know.
Yeah, well, they're like, oh, it's for the insurance money, and it's like, well, the only problem with that was the ship was not insured for more than its value.
Yeah.
So the insurance fraud would not be worth it. I'm
And I don't
sorry.
know if I don't have ship insurance, but I don't know if icebergs are covered under it.
Yeah, no, I mean that's about like I don't know. You'd have to look in if he went and pulled iceberg insurance out. 2 weeks before the trip,
First
I'd be
policy
looking
of
at
its
him.
kind.
Yeah, about like old Lucky Larry and the old towers there. Oh, I'm gonna take out a terrorist insurance on this building. Well,
But
we'll
now,
get to him eventually.
yeah, I don't know, man. The Titanic one, I think it's a wash up, and I'm not meaning that in a metaphorical. I think it's factually a wash
I
up.
never washed up, but
Yeah, yeah. I don't know, dude. That brings
oh,
me
like
to another thing. How do we have shipwrecks that are literally on the bottom of the ocean floor, and for years and hundreds of years they've never moved? Like, why are they just stuck there? You ever think
well, I'd
like,
like to say something with the Titanic is it's too heavy to move, but it has just crumbled.
yeah,
Like deteriorated and crumbled. But you got all those old wooden ships.
yep. But
And
that's what I'm
they're
saying. Like,
like
how?
you would think like wood rot, they'd eventually just break up and crumble, but no, like they're still in somewhat
Yeah, it's
working.
almost
I mean,
like
I shouldn't say working condition, but like
no.
touchable condition. Like you could swim through it or do whatever, and you wouldn't just go blasting right through the other side.
And that's the thing. Where does it end up? Because if it stays there forever, then that confuses me. Because there's still a current. It may not be super strong, but over time with erosion and everything else, you should find something. And if we're not getting it washed up on the shores, where does it end up, dude? You ever think?
China.
You ever think about that? I think truly, I think the
Everything
Marianas
washes up
Trench
in
is
China.
scary as shit. It's probably in the trench, and it's just slowly filling up with garbage.
How much garbage do you think we could fit in the Mariana Trench?
I don't know. They haven't found the bottom, have they? I don't know, man. The ocean's weird. We don't know
Ocean's
shit
scary,
about it.
okay? I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie. You guys, listeners, you're probably gonna think I'm a gigantic wuss.
No, we talked about it in a
I
previous episode.
yes, dude. I do not like the ocean, not one bit. Like went to
I like
Jamaica
where I
this
can
year.
see. That's
It was fun. You know, I was at the beach. We got in the ocean. It was a good time. Flying to Jamaica, I was like,
Terrifying.
dude, you look down, and I'm like, oh, that's a bunch of blue. Alrighty.
No, that's when
Well,
you just think the plane's flying upside down. Just trick your mind. Be like, dude,
yeah.
we're inverted. We bust a tower.
Yeah, we.
But no, the ocean's absolutely terrifying. We know less about it than we do of outer space, allegedly.
Allegedly. And we just confirmed that aliens are real. So you tell me what else is out there in the ocean? Who's to say that the fucking Kraken didn't come and take the Titanic
Bro,
down?
that would be wild. But did you? If we're gonna speak about old stories of like sea monsters, you remember mermaids?
Yes.
Like the pirates
You
would
remember-
lose their minds over them.
Okay,
Have you ever
can we
heard?
just take a second and be like, oh, as a kid, everybody wants to be a mermaid. You know, for little girls, it's so cute to be a mermaid.
And then you
watch
find out that they
Ariel,
were
You know, you watch
manatees.
the little, yeah, you watch the Little Mermaid, and then you grow up and you're like, actually, mermaids are a pirate's tale of these little things that would come out of the ocean, and
Manatees.
then manatees.
It looks like a mini beluga whale, dude. Like a super small. They.
Well, not even that. Like the pirates' tales of them are they're like man eaters, though.
Yeah.
Like they rip them into the ocean and then eat them.
Yeah. And yet we're trying to preserve them. No shit. They probably got hunted down by pirates. I never thought about that. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Huh.
I think they're still out there. I mean, there's some footage of there's a guy down in the submarine. Something. It was human-like.
Yeah. But I don't know, dude. I don't know. We can get into that another time, dude.
I think the Kraken took the Titanic down.
I don't think it was a Kraken. Probably Cthulhu.
Could have been.
The end of the world. Well,
Scary stuff.
we'll land this spaceship right now because we're getting out there. This has been Blazed and Confused, and thanks for sticking with us. We're still having a good time. Catch you next week. Peace.
See ya.